onto the start finish line. They'll get lined up on those tram lines. Will they get the start this time? As our expert flagman looks to wave, he'll wave the green flag in the air as the LO206 Cadet and Junior final is underway. And to turn one they go down the hill.
Down the hill around.
Luke Giglio leads them.
The turn there. Let's see a little bit of contact there, but everyone maintaining good lines. 3 wide going up the hill.
Up the hill they go. And in front of the building here, the track has dried off some, not that much sliding compared to what we saw before.
It looks like they have all moved back to racing slicks there.
So probably still going to try to avoid the rumble strips a little bit, but as far as the racing line goes, it seems to be dried off. So this will be good for the speed of these drivers. Luke Giglio looking behind to see if anyone's behind him. But this might be the Luke Giglio show again. If he gets to a lead here, it might be hard to catch him.
We'll see as they come across the line and timing and scoring kicks in.
Although a small little group here on the front, so maybe it's not all said and done. Luke Giglio does lead this front group. Joseph Saddington, Oliver Nybert are your top 3. They are in the LO206 Cadet class. So maybe there's some answers for Luke this race. Not able to drive away from the start. He is under threat of being passed from these 2 drivers behind him.
Yep, looks like Saddington actually had a slightly faster first lap time there, by about 1/10 of a second.
And yeah, sometimes if you can run behind a cart, you can hit your marks a little better just seeing where they are, and you can run a faster lap time. And not necessarily always enough to get around the driver in front, but we've definitely seen it before where a second or third place cart will run the faster lap.
Mm-hmm. Saddington looking over his shoulder again as he comes through the S's, trying to figure out where he is in relation to who he's in front of. Right on the bumper
to bumper.
Giglio as they come around turn 17 there into the straight.
Down to the front stretch, Luke Giglio leads this pack of 3. Joseph Saddington, Oliver Nybert are your top 3 at LO206 Cadet. The race is at the front for Luke Giglio. Finally having some competition as he was in a class of his own at the start in the pre-final, but now these 3 carts run tightly. There's a little bit of bump there at the top of the hill. Not enough to get side by side of the kink. Luke Giglio will still maintain the lead, although
he makes
Joseph
a
Saddington
move.
looking
Is
at the
he gonna
inside.
hold it?
He'll have the inside lane. Will he keep it? Luke Giglio not able to close the door. Joseph Saddington is the new leader. He is in the first position. A great move. He set that turn up before the kink. He had him on the side by side, got him nervous, slowed him down, passed him on the the backstretch, set him up for the final turn.
Great setup by Saddington there, and it paid off for him as he now leads the race. Finishing up lap 2 here, going into lap 3, and looks like Luke Giglio holds on to the second place.
For now, Luke Giglio is in the second position. Joseph Saddington, who ran that fastest lap, he is now in open air. He could run away with it if Luke Giglio and Oliver Nybert do not have any answers for him.
Looks like Saddington is running about a half a second faster than second place Luke Giglio.
As Joseph Saddington, as he comes down the hill, he gives a look behind to gauge the difference between Luke Giglio and him. If he's going to be there in time, Luke Giglio not going to look on the inside. Decides better of it.
Let's see. Saddington almost always looks over his shoulder here as he comes through the S's to see where he's at. There he does it just then. Sees he's still ahead of Giglio there.
And we see some crazy passes up here at this top of the hill heading into turn 16. So I think Joseph Saddington just making sure, all right, I want to make sure he's not next to me till I know what line to take. The fastest way around the track is obviously running your own line, but if someone comes up behind you, you have to run a defensive line. It's the slower way around the track, but it's necessary to not let someone by.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're allowed one move, right? One defensive move.
Yeah. So on the straights, you're allowed to make a defensive move. No blocking. So once you make your move, you kind of have to stay with it. You can't weave back and forth. You'll see. We've seen penalties handed out for that, both at the car track and at the main track. So got to be aware of the rules here. And sometimes you get into a heated race, you just want to win. You might forget about those rules, and it'll come back to hurt you. But not to worry about it just yet for Joseph Saddington and Luke Giglio. They are still running first and second, bumper to bumper.
Bumper to bumper into turn 16, into turn 17, coming out on the straight here. Let's see what the lap times look like.
As they make their way around through the start-finish line.
Giglio has closed the gap on that lead that Saddington has a little bit. He's only running about a quarter of a second slower.
So, yeah, all within 1/10 of each other. It is worth noting Oliver Nybert ran a faster time than Luke Giglio did. So Oliver Nybert in that third place cart running slightly faster than Luke is.
He could be waiting for a better position to go ahead and sling past him there if he keeps up these faster lap times.
And, if you're Oliver, you might be thinking, all right, if Joseph and Luke get together, I'm kind of in the catbird spot. I might be able to get an easy win and make my move.
Giglio looks over his shoulder there to see where he stands with third place.
A decent gap now between first and second as Oliver Nybert, a few car lengths separating them. Joseph Saddington and Luke Giglio, not much separating them. They were bumper to bumper heading into a turn and a slight gap. They'll get the cross flags halfway to go. So 6 laps complete, 6 more to go as they make their way into turn 2. Approaching a lapped car here, so we'll see if this lapped car gets in the way and if maybe, Luke Giglio can use it as a pick to get around. They catch the lapped car in kind of not a good spot.
Now, that slowed Luke down just a little bit, but not enough to let Saddington pull away from him.
It slowed him down enough to make it so that he's not in striking range this lap. So Joseph Saddington can eyes forward and run his line, knowing he doesn't have to run a defensive line at the end of that backstretch. So that'll help him a lot. So the effects of the lap car could be felt for, a whole lap after you end up passing him. As Oliver Nybert still about 5 or 6 carts between second and third. But he closes up a little here in the final turn. Luke Giglio still behind Joseph Saddington. Not much separating them at the line. They cross it, about 2/10 separating first and second.
On lap 7 here, that lap car they passed slowed them down a little bit, but I suspect after this lap we're going to see their lap times come back down in that 101, 102, low 102 range.
Down the hill they go through the kink. We'll see if Luke Giglio has anything for Joseph Saddington. He's on his bumper this time. Is he going to look or is he going to stay behind him? He decides to tuck in behind him and run a fast line, maybe going to set him up on the uphill battle as they enter the S's. Luke Giglio right behind Joseph Saddington as they look. Looking behind is Joseph Saddington. Sees that Luke Giglio is right behind him. This is where Luke Giglio could make a move.
Puts the pressure on him.
Right on the back bumper.
16, 17 turn coming up here. It feels like Luke is just waiting for his move, keeping that pressure on, maybe hoping that Saddington will make a mistake here.
It is, you're Joseph Saddington, you probably feel anxious that Luke Giglio might make this pass any time. The Jaws music is creeping in. You just know that he's behind. And Luke Giglio, he's definitely made these passes before, so not shy to make passes for the lead. As they make their way down the hill, there's another lapped car. We'll see if they catch him in a wrong area. Hopefully they get by him before the braking zone. They won't. I don't think that lapped car knows that the leaders are coming. They're going to take the inside. Luke Giglio falls on the outside. Yep. I think that's going to mess up Luke there. He's not going to be within striking distance.
No, he lost several car lengths there trying to get around the lapped car.
Well, now he has a couple laps to get back to the leader.
And this is where those extra 2 laps can come in handy. We're coming up on to lap 9 here, which would be the white flag, but those extra 2 laps could give Luke the time he needs to make up that gap.
Well said and good point because, normally we would have said, all right, that's it. That was your last opportunity, and now it's you don't have a chance. But as we can see, Luke Giglio is closing in, so plenty of time in this race to still make moves. I mean, Joseph Saddington just looked behind and said, "What? I thought he was, I thought he
Where'd
was
you
gone.
come from?"
Where did you come from exactly?" Down the hill they go, and another lap car ahead. It just seems to be lap cars. These guys are running so much faster than some of the back markers. They're just catching lap car after lap car. As hopefully the lap car will see the blue flags in time and be able to get out of the way.
They'll catch him in the S's here.
I think if you're these leaders, you just want to see the lap cars get out of the way, or mess up the person that you're racing, but can't always wish for that.
They both get around the lapped car here as they go into 16.
Easily negotiated through that turn into turn 16. On to turn 17 they go. You'll see another lap car getting the blue flag. Across the line they go.
Near identical lap times from Saddington Giglio, 1:02.2 and 1:02.2.
Yeah, almost nothing separating them on track. They are right next to each other. As bumper to bumper, the lap car gets out of the way. And they are literally slicing the field up. They are just in and out of lap cars, left and right, bumper to bumper. Not much separating them. As they head down the backstretch we go, Luke Giglio still tucks behind Joseph Saddington. I think he's going to wait to make the move.
He is going to wait. I think so as well.
I think he knows that it's like the chances of him being repassed is high. He doesn't want to give away his.
He's so close to Saddington there. He didn't have to look over his shoulder that lap. He felt him.
Yeah, and sometimes that's what those you give a little bump is for. Hey, I'm here. As they see the white flag out, last lap to go. Joseph Saddington, Luke Giglio, LO206 Cadets. This is the final for the podium for the win. Joseph Saddington up the hill. He looks behind. Luke Giglio all in his face as they head in front of the building, turn 4.
Pressure's on Saddington. See if he can break late here on this back stretch and keep Giglio from moving to the inside. He makes a move.
Luke Giglio looking on the inside. Is he going to be able to maintain the pass? He's in front. Is Joseph Saddington able to cut below him? No, Luke Giglio to the lead, but there's a lapped car in the way. Will it affect the outcome? He gets out of the way. Luke Giglio still in the lead. Joseph Saddington pushing him up the hill. Not much. There's one more passing zone left where Joseph Saddington can do this. He'll have to set him up perfectly to cross him at the line. Luke Giglio defends the inside. Joseph Saddington on the outside. Will he set him up for the final turn? Luke Giglio on the outside. Joseph Saddington on the inside.
Side
Joseph
by
Saddington.
side. Who is it? It's going to be
Luke
Giglio.
Wins the race on a
Squeaks it out.
side-by-side finish. He made the pass in turn 9 and was able to hold on to the lead.
What a great finish that was.
And, I mean, wow, what a race.
What a race. Fantastic driving from Giglio at Saddington the entire race, and really set it up perfectly there on the last 2 laps. Again, those extra 2 laps.
It really made all the difference. And, I mean, Luke Giglio, he won the pre-final. A great race. This side-by-side finish.
Just
he wins the
look
final.
at this. Oh, so close. Heads down, trying to get that extra quarter of a mile an hour. Great racing.
A great race.
Great racing.
And so Luke Giglio will win our first final of the day. So